You've already seen the benchmarks and you've already seen the numbers. The M1 Apple computers are amazing. They're so fast, they're destroying everything else, blah, 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 blah. What matters is user experience. I bought the MacBook Air because I like the idea of a fanless laptop. It sounds crazy, it sounds like it wouldn't work, it sounds like it's not gonna be as good as you think it is. I was intrigued by the Air specifically because of the cheaper price and then also the no fan design. I thought if anything, if the CPU does get throttled because of heat while I'm working on this laptop, I'll just trade off for a MacBook Pro, because this is supposed to be my work machine, right? I really want to try that entry level. I want to try what most people would buy, because that's intriguing to me. If this is the worst of the M1 computers, how good is it really? Now again, you've seen numbers, you've seen benchmarks. I'm not going to get into that, because what matters is the user experience and how it feels to use the machine. When you compare an iPhone specs to an Android phone specs, well, the iPhone always loses. But when you use them side by side, you're like, why is it that this iPhone feels so smooth when it's not even close to the specs of this Android phone? User experience matters. My main computer right now is the 3.2 i7 Mac Mini. I upgraded the RAM to 32 gigs myself. I have an eGPU with a 1070 in it to run for graphics, and it's a great machine. It does everything really well. I love it. And I didn't buy the $999 base model MacBook Air. I did upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM, and I did upgrade the storage to 512. So the total's around $1,400. But the point is, I bought a $1,400 MacBook Air, and it makes my Mac Mini look 10 years old with how much faster this MacBook Air is. I was crazy excited about the M1 chips before they were announced. When Apple was saying, we're going to our silicon, we're building our own, ground up, everything built by Apple. That got me excited. That got me so hyped, because I'm like, this is what makes the iPhones and the iPads so great and why I still use them, even though they're kind of boring. Like, let's admit, Apple is boring as can be. It's a safe company, but it does work and it is smooth. And I will admit that the MacBook Air Pro and Mac Mini's designs, they are boring because of the same things we've had for years. I kind of wish Apple's first silicon new computer would have had a new design, to differentiate it from the rest of the pack, right? And I think we're gonna get that with the second generation, the M2 chip enabled computers. But once again, Apple's design is still kind of boring. Even though it is clean, even though it is beautiful, it's still boring because we've seen it for so long. But you know what isn't boring is how good this computer is. It is amazing that not only does this thing have a fan, it has instant on, it does all of that. The fact that opening first-party apps is so fast, and even third-party that aren't even technically supported by the M1 chip yet, and Rosetta has to come in and translate everything, you can't tell. I can't tell that Photoshop is not optimized for the M1 chip yet. It is so fast, and again, it's faster than my Mac Mini. I think what's most impressive to me is that I've been out editing 4K video, photoshopping at the same time. I have Chrome open with more than 4 tabs. That's amazing in itself. And I'm off the charger. And one, the laptop never even gets warm. It's still cold. And I have like 12 hours of battery life somehow. I'm sitting there using this computer going like, how does this exist? How is this real? How is a real laptop? And of course, I'm blowing it out of proportion. I'm making it seem like it's the greatest thing that's ever been made on the planet, and I know that it's not. But when I use a computer that is this good and this fast, I assume that I'm paying a whole lot of money for it. But the fact that I really didn't, and of course, $1,400 is still a lot of money for a laptop. But this is $1,400 for a Mac. We all know Macs are expensive, so $1,400 for a Mac is actually cheap. Yet it's still really, really good. The M1 Macs get me excited about Apple. They get me excited for the future. I don't get excited for the new iPhones. I don't get excited for new iPads because they're boring. But M1, these chips get me excited because it shows the future of the company. These are the beginning. This is like the beta versions of what Apple's trying to do. It's like, hey, buy a MacBook Air. This is early access, test this out with us, and we're gonna figure out as we go along. These M2 enabled computers, the M3 enabled computers, I cannot wait to see just how fast those are. My Mac Mini, the total it came out to after buying everything I needed for it, dongles and adapters and eGPUs and graphics cards and RAMs and everything, it was around $2,500, but I spent $1,400, and it's just destroying that computer that is not even a full year old yet. That Mac Mini is still basically brand new, And this MacBook Air is completely replacing it. Like, if you want to buy my Mac Mini, let me know. I'm gonna be selling it online at some point anyway. Either way, there's no review in this. I just wanted to rant and talk about how good this laptop is. If anything, this is a first look. It's a hands-on with a MacBook Air that is just getting me excited about Apple. And I recommend to anybody, if you're looking to buy a laptop, buy an M1 Mac and be surprised by how good it is like I am. Let me know in the comments what you think about Apple's new computers. If you've bought one, how it's going for you. If you're thinking about getting one, what are your pros and cons? In all honesty, I don't see a need for the fan for my workload just yet. I haven't seen it throttle enough that I feel like I need to spend an extra $300-400 on the MacBook Pro. But getting the Mac Mini at $700, upgrade a little bit, make it like $1,000, that's an amazing computer if you need a desktop. And it's a great family computer, just the base model, let's just be honest. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll come at you with probably some more M1 Mac videos in the future. Later, guys.